Dawn of a new decade, goodbye austerity, hello optimism, the 1960s in Britain, a time of dramatic change. After years of post-war austerity, a new spirit emerged. Young people, tired of rationing and drabness, craved something new. The old rules felt suffocating. It was time for something different, something exciting. Enter the swinging 60s. This era wasn't just about music or fashion, it was a complete transformation of British society. Suddenly there was a vibrancy, an energy that had been missing. The world was watching and Britain was leading the charge. This wasn't just happening in London either. The spirit of the 60s spread like wildfire across the country. From Liverpool's booming music scene to the vibrant art schools of Manchester, change was in the air. The 60s were here to stay, and they were going to be anything but dull. Yeah. The Beatles take the world by storm. No talk of the 60s is complete without mentioning the Beatles. Their music defined an era, and their influence was felt in every corner of the globe. This band from Liverpool became a global phenomenon. Their music, infectious, their style, revolutionary. From their humble beginnings in the Cavern Club to their meteoric rise to fame, the Beatles' journey was nothing short of extraordinary. They represented the youthful energy of the decade. Their songs captured the spirit of the times, resonating with young people who were eager for change and new experiences. It started with screaming fans on British TV. Their appearance on shows like Thank Your Lucky Stars and Ready, Steady, Go catapulted them into the limelight. Then, Beatlemania crossed the Atlantic. Their arrival in America marked a new chapter in their career as they were greeted by thousands of adoring fans. The Beatles invaded America, taking the world by storm. Their performance on The Ed Sullivan Show was watched by millions, solidifying their status as global superstars. Their music wasn't just catchy, it spoke to a generation. Songs like I Want to Hold Your Hand and She Loves You became anthems for young people everywhere. Themes of love, peace and rebellion resonated with young people worldwide. The Beatles' lyrics often reflected the social and political changes of the 1960s. But the Beatles were more than just a band. They were cultural icons, influencing everything from fashion to politics. They became symbols of the changing times. Their evolving image and sound mirrored the rapid changes happening in society. Their haircuts, their clothes, their attitude, it all challenged the established order. They broke the mold of what a rock band could be. They were leaders of a cultural revolution, whether they intended to be or not. Their influence extended beyond music, shaping the very fabric of the 1960s. The impact of the Beatles is still felt today. Their music continues to inspire new generations of artists and fans. They proved that British music could conquer the world. The success of the Beatles paved the way for other British bands to find international fame. And they showed that pop music could be more than just entertainment, it could be a force for social change. Their songs became anthems for movements advocating for peace, love and equality. From Carnaby Street to the world fashion gets a makeover. The 60s witnessed a fashion revolution, gone were the conservative styles of the past. In their place, bold colours, miniskirts and a touch of rebellion. London became the epicenter of this fashion explosion. Carnaby Street was the place to be. This bustling street was a showcase for cutting-edge designers. Names like Mary Quant and Bieber became synonymous with the 60s look. Quant's miniskirt, a symbol of liberation, Bieber's bohemian chic, a nod to the counterculture. This wasn't just about clothes, it was about attitude. Fashion became a way to express individuality, to challenge norms. Young people were no longer content to dress like their parents. They wanted to stand out, to make a statement. The 60s fashion revolution had a lasting impact. It broke down barriers between haute couture and the street, and it cemented London's reputation as a global fashion capital. Mods and rockers, a tale of two tribes. The 60s weren't just about peace and love. While the era is often remembered for its counterculture movements and the rise of flower power, there was another side to the story. Beneath the surface, tensions simmered. The youth of Britain were divided. and this division was most evident in the rivalry between two distinct groups. This was most evident in the rivalry between the mods and the rockers. These two groups, though both part of the youth culture, couldn't have been more different. The mods, with their sharp suits and scooters, represented modernism. They were the epitome of style and sophistication, always looking to the future. They loved jazz, soul music and looking stylish. Their nights were spent in clubs, dancing to the latest tunes and showcasing their impeccable fashion sense. The rockers, on the other hand, were all about rock and roll, leather jackets and motorcycles. They were the rebels, the ones who lived for the thrill of the open road. They idolized Marlon Brando and James Dean, icons of rebellion and non-conformity. Their style was rugged, their attitude defiant. Their differences were more than just stylistic. The mods and rockers represented two distinct worldviews, two different ways of life. The mods sought progress and modernity, while the rockers clung to the raw, unfiltered essence of rock and roll. Clashes between the two groups were common, often erupting on beaches and seaside towns. These confrontations were not just about fashion or music, they were about identity and belonging. These clashes, though often exaggerated by the media, became symbolic of the underlying tensions of the era. Headlines screamed of youth gone wild, painting a picture of chaos and disorder. The mods and rockers might have seemed like polar opposites. On the surface they were divided by their tastes and styles, but they both shared a sense of rebellion, a desire to break free from the constraints of the past. Both groups were pushing against the boundaries set by the older generation. Their rivalry, however, served as a reminder that the 60s, while a time of great change, were not without their conflicts. The era was marked by a struggle for identity, a quest for meaning in a rapidly changing world. Despite their differences, both mods and rockers contributed to the rich tapestry of 1960s youth culture. Their legacy lives on, a testament to a time when the youth dared to define themselves. Beyond the Beatles, the broader cultural explosion. While the Beatles were undoubtedly iconic, the 60s cultural revolution extended far beyond music. This was a time when British youth culture was flourishing and fashion was undergoing a radical transformation. The youth of Britain were not just passive observers, they were active participants in shaping a new cultural identity. British television experienced a golden age, producing groundbreaking shows that pushed boundaries and challenged conventions. Television became a powerful medium for storytelling and social commentary, reflecting the changing attitudes and aspirations of the time. The Avengers, with its stylish spies and quirky humor, became a global sensation. It wasn't just a TV show, it was a cultural phenomenon that captured the imagination of audiences worldwide. The characters, the fashion, and the innovative storytelling set new standards for television. Doctor Who, a science fiction series with a uniquely British sensibility, captivated audiences with its imaginative storytelling. The show's ability to blend science fiction with social issues made it a standout series that continues to be beloved by fans today. These shows, and many others, showcased British creativity and innovation to the world. The behind-the-scenes efforts of writers, directors and actors contributed to a television landscape that was both diverse and dynamic. British cinema also flourished during this period. Filmmakers were exploring new themes and techniques, pushing the boundaries of what cinema could achieve. The film industry was a hotbed of creativity, producing works that were both critically acclaimed and commercially successful. Films like A Hard Day's Night, featuring the Beatles, of course, and Blow Up reflected the energy and anxieties of the era. These films were not just entertainment, they were cultural artifacts that captured the spirit of the times. They offered a glimpse into the changing social landscape and explored themes of identity, class, and modernity. They offered a glimpse into the changing social landscape and explored themes of identity, class, and modernity. The films of this era were a mirror to society, reflecting the hopes, dreams, and fears of a generation in flux. The 60s in Britain were a time of immense creativity and cultural ferment. Artists, musicians, filmmakers, and writers were all pushing the boundaries of their respective fields, creating a vibrant and dynamic cultural scene. This was where experimentation and innovation were not just encouraged but celebrated. It was a period where music, fashion, television and film intertwined to create a dynamic and influential cultural landscape that continues to resonate today. The cross-pollination of different art forms led to a rich tapestry of cultural expression that was uniquely British. The legacy of this era, its music, its style, its spirit of change, continues to inspire and intrigue, reminding us of a time when Britain was truly swinging. The cultural explosion of the 60s left an indelible mark on the world, influencing everything from fashion to film, and its impact is still felt today. The spirit of innovation and creativity that defined this era serves as a reminder of what is possible when a society embraces change and dares to dream.